I have difficulties with the concept of building my own world with thoughts and feelings, entering it and then living in it. Can you help me to make this a little easier?
You should proceed like this. First form an idea of the subtle world, of the heaven in which you wish to live.
Then you can densify the image into a hologram and finally bring it to life.
How this seemingly fantastic exercise is carried out in practice, we will now discuss. First, we must briefly explain the nature, meaning, and power of imagination. Fantasy is of immeasurable importance for life in the higher world. The whole reality there is created by your imagination.
That what you imagine becomes a reality in the subtle world around you. Remember about the Raja who wished to receive a beautiful palace and did receive it, but who, on entering it, thought about an attacking tiger, which then appeared and tore him to pieces.
The construction of a material building on earth as well begins with an imagination, an idea, a plan. It is the same in the higher world, with the only difference that there the thought creation is sufficient and the physical execution superfluous, as no material level is extant there. Thus you build your heaven, the hologram of a temple of subtle matter, only with the help of your imagination.
When you play, when you dream, when you fantasize that you live in a temple, then there is actually a temple in the subtle world around you. In the world of the spirit, everything is possible. What do you mean? I can create everything I wish?
Yes, there no limits are set to your creative power.
Seekers should not fear that something is impossible. Everything is imaginable, because everything exists. A widely educated person should possess a rich imagination. For such an individual, the realm of the impossible is diminished and possibilities multiply.
The only limit is your imagination. Only that what you cannot imagine, you cannot realize either.
How can man create mentally when he is even unable to imagine a desirable environment for himself? How can he think of the refinement of forms when he never pictures them in thought, thus trying to make his surroundings worthy of higher beings? Extension of the imagination means extension of the consciousness, means extension of the reality, means extension of the possibilities.
We had already said in the broadcasting on sexuality The man of the future creates his progeny not by physical procreation, but by imagination, will, and yoga. Likewise, he builds the world of the future by his spiritual power.
The more beautiful your imagination, the more magnificent will be the work of art you create. Each spirit creates his own world, and the beauty or ugliness of the created world depends upon the quality of the consciousness.
A limited imagination will only erect a poor building.
Each day it is possible to meditate beautifully about a better life beyond the limits of Earth. The more beautiful the imagination, the better are the possibilities engendered there where thought rules.
Without imagination, there is no progress. First comes the dream, the vision, then the realization.
No labor can be uplifted without imagination. Pay attention to that good word, imagination. It is not fantasy or cunning invention, but the discovery of higher images and the realization of lofty concepts. Imagination is always real and trustful. We cannot always know where this truth is, but it does exist.
He who harbors no dreams anymore will not be able to shape a better future.
How is it possible to move forward if the power of imagination is missing? Only an undeveloped imagination can limit the universe to such a degree. Therefore, I so greatly emphasize the development of imagination as the basis of striving toward the higher worlds. Imagination of the future is a preview of that what can and will come. Those who are endowed with imagination are not dreamers. The dream of the enlightened mind is true foresight.
Think about this wisdom.
Our wishes are the harbingers of the abilities that lie within us. Is not my imagination completely arbitrary and without any basis?
No, it is shaped to a large extent by that what you have actually experienced already in previous existences on Earth or in the higher world. Your fantasy consists predominantly of memories of former experiences.
The imagination is nourished not only by the remembrances of past lives, but also by the action of the present. When the spirit participates in the life of the far-off worlds, or in the subtle world, or in the astral world, then frequently the memories of these experiences are reflected as imagination.
Thus, if someone dreams of the teacher's ashram as his heaven, he probably really was a disciple in such a sanctuary in a previous life, in this or in the other world. Expansion of imagination is the first step towards higher cognition, because what you cannot imagine, you will not perceive or consider to be true either. By expanding the realm of the conceivable and the possible, you expand the reality in which you live. We discover a practically most important principle.
You would like to perceive the higher world, the subtle reality around you. Then imagine it first. Let everyone tell us how he imagines the far-off worlds. Each one will be right, no matter how vivid his imagination. For, in truth, there is nothing that does not exist, and our imagination can invent only a small part of the reality.
There is nothing mystical about entering the other world and beginning to orientate yourself there. This is best achieved by letting your imagination run wild. Thereby, your eternal individuality passes, as in sleep, but this time consciously, into the realm of dreams, which is just another word for the world of the soul. Once you are there and staying for a while, you also make yourself receptive to what else is going on there besides your own imagination.
Vision is the art of seeing things invisible.
If you create the subtle world through your thoughts in the first place, it is logically compelling that you must imagine it first, before you can see more clearly what is taking place there.
Without your imagining it, the higher world does not even exist.
In your dreams, you put yourself in a certain world and thereby attract the subtle beings which belong to this sphere. A tiger, if you think of a tiger, and your teacher, if you think of his ashram.
Just because I think of Napoleon or my teacher, surely they will not appear.
No, but as we had discussed already many times, you can attach yourself in your imagination to the world of spirit in which they live.
This is not theory. Children do it the same way and live in a wonderful way in their imaginary world, which means in the subtle world. Imitate them, and you will see you can live there too.
The exercise living in the continuous presence of the teacher also works in such a way that you keep the image of your teacher before your eyes. And the exercise transferring the consciousness into your higher self, so that you visualize the ideal of your eternal individuality.